Hello everyone, this is your stitchy friend from the Philippines. This is James the PH teacher and welcome to my 2025 Mid-Year WIP Parade. And this is Flosstube number 74 and it's July 13, Sunday afternoon here in the Philippines. And it's been 2 weeks since I've uploaded a Flosstube video update. And unfortunately, I only have worked on two cross stitch projects for the past 2 weeks because of the hectic schedule on at work. We prepared for the graduation, which held successfully last July 10, and prior to that, we have sleepless almost sleepless moments of preparation where we uh, got home in at midnight or at 3 o'clock in the morning just to finish the preparation. So that's why, since today Sunday is due for a Flosstube video update, so I decided to have my mid-year whip parade today instead of making it at the end of the month, where that would be my fourth year Flosstubersary. So that's the reason. And today I'll be showing to you almost 70 whips from cross from full coverage, fancy lady, forest, and a bit other cross stitch designs. So if you are new here, or if you are watching for the first time, let me introduce myself. My name is James. I am from the Philippines. So I've been doing floss tube since 2021. When it comes to cross stitch, I was introduced by my aunt when I was a young kid, probably 10 years old, I guess. And then I started some full coverage project when I was already working. I think I remember that I was stitching a Marvel superhero that time, and I didn't know that it is still that's called a full coverage project. And then in 2021, it's pandemic that time, still pandemic that time. I was bored during my after my work, since it's work at home, so I decided to um, start cross stitching. And while preparing or looking for the flaws and other things that are needed for my cross stitch project, I stumbled upon the YouTube, which is Flosstube, because of the tutorials. And then that's it. Then after 3 months, I was uh, able to have my Flosstube channel, which was last July 31, 2021. And I think it's my fourth year now that I will be doing this mid-year whip parade. So I am a full coverage teacher, also a fancy lady, and a alforest uh, cross teacher. So those are the whips, most of my whips. But during 2021, I was able to um, buy some GMC Philippines charts, and you will see that one uh, later. So enough of that, enough of the introduction. But I am since it's mid-year whip parade, I was able to watch some of the Flosstubers who released their uh, mid-year whip parade. I watched Steph, which is the Wild Fox Stitchery, Lindsay, Blush and Pink Stitches, Mackenzie, which is the Night Owl Stitcher, and then of course Dizzy Stitcher, Siske Stitcher, Max Color, Free 10 Stitcher, the Sleepy Stitcher, and Becca Mackenzie, and then Sarah's stitchery. So those are the mid-year whip parades that I've watched for the past 2 weeks, and I am still not finished with the whip parade of Siske. So I just watch only the part one. And let's dive in with my whips. So I divided my whips into two parts. The part one is late in the early months of this year, probably March, April. I decided to pick 25 whips that I'll be working on focus focus this year, which is 2020, 25 whips in 2025, and all of my full coverage projects are in the 25 whips. And then I've chosen four fancy ladies, I think, and then two Alfor's embroidery, and out of that I was able to finish one Alforest embroidery, and let me show you that one. And this is my only finish for so far this year, and then this is golden bees. Let me just arrange. Okay, so this is golden bees, my only finish this year. This is stitched on 16 count Ada fabric, and I only use the DMC color conversion of this one. So since I finished one, so I inserted one uh, project in the 2020, in the 25 webs. So hopefully I'll be adding some of my finishes this year in the half of the year, but so far this is my finish. Now let's go to my full coverage first. So I think I have 19 full coverage projects. So let me start off with the bird song, and this is designed by Tatiana Fedorova, and this is from Heaven and Earth Design. And so far this year, I don't have a picture for the so far this year. This is the progress. I was able to finish all the missing stitches here, and this is stitched on 16 count Ada fabric. So far this year I was able to add 1363 stitches, and right now it has a total of 6394 stitches made, and I have a progress of 2.86%. Next is my oldest whip, and this is Black Phoenix. This is what I said a while ago when I started going back to cross stitching, and this is stitched on a 14 count Ada fabric, and so far it's quite big because I was not yet introduced to another I only knew 14 count that time, and then when I learned it in Flosstube also. So far this is the progress. So let me just show you where I am right now on this very big. So I've uploaded a picture from the Pictopat and then made a chart on it. So far this is my progress. So let me give you some stats. So for this year I was able to add 1150 stitches, and right now it has 62,142 stitches made, and I am 62.40%. So hopefully next year I'll be able to finish this one. So that's the progress of my Black Phoenix. Next is a design from Stephanie Pumillo, and this is She Sleeps, and this is a new start this year, one of my new start, and this is stitched on 18 count Ada fabric, and it's quite different um, design because it's circle, and right now it has 2118 stitches and it is 1.42%. So that's She Sleeps. Next is this is a design from Yvonne Gilbert from Hade, and this is Princess Asleep. And this is so far the progress. This is stitched on a 16 count Ada fabric, and this year I was able to add 5,679 stitches, and it has now 15,481 stitches made, and the progress is 9.75%. So this is one of my regular stitching project, so I really enjoy stitching it. Next is a design from Ruan Manning, and this is the mini river walk charm, and this is from Hade again. This is also one of my restart this year. It was on a 14 count Ada, but I restarted it on an 18 count Ada, and then I tried doing the parking method, but I decided to make it a typewriter method by 2 blocks, and so far this is the progress, and I have now 4,825 stitches and I am at 5.89%. So this is the mini river walk charm. Next is a design from Michael Hayes, and this is Awakening. This is one of my oldest WIP. It has been gone for 3 restarts, and this is my final, which is the 16 count, and I added 4,116 stitches, and I am now at 11,712 stitches made, and it is 4.87%. I think at the bottom I did some cropping, but since I am at the top left, so I'll be focusing to finish it on the first 10 rows. So far this is the progress of Awakening. Next is my second oldest WIP, and this is from Amy Stewart, and this is Bird Garden, and this is stitched on an 18 count Ada fabric, and this is quite big now. So this is the first part, and let me fold it and show you where I am right now with the stitching. So I am here in the stitching, and I added 6,318 stitches this year, and it has a total of 45,795 stitches made, and I am 13.08%. So my goal for this year is to reach the top right of the chart of the design. So far this is the progress. Next is a new start, and this is from Jan Patrick Krasny, and this is Treetop Leopard Family, and This is stitched on an 18 count Ada fabric, and I have now a total of 4,086 stitches, and I am at 1.17%. This week I worked on the mini Colmart Street, which is stitched, it was designed by Dominic Davison, and fortunately I am now I've added 1,000, almost, yes, 1,000 stitches. I made during the when I chose the 25 whips, the full cover, I wanted the full coverage to be in rotation, and every whip I wanted to add 1,000 stitches. So far I was able to do that one, and this one I think I've added 1,000 stitches, and right now it has 3,003 stitches, and this is 3.98%. So it's quite confetti on this side, but I'm happy that I've made the 1,000 stitches this week. Next is one of my oldest full coverage. I think this is my third oldest full coverage, and this is from Amy Stewart, and this is the Beachcomber's Bounty. And how many stitches I've added this year? 3,120, and I am now at 9,600 stitches, and this is 2.94. So this year I came back stitching for the full coverage. I was very into Fancy Lady last year, so I'm happy that I am back at this one, full coverage stitching. So far this is the progress. I was able to finish all the missing stitches here this year, and then uh, uh, proceeded to stitch over here. So still there is a park threads. Next is a new start, and this is the Mermaid at Sunset, and this is a design from Anna Lazarova, I think. And so far I've added 1,173 stitches, and it is 0.43%, and then this is stitched on a 18 count Ada fabric. Next is this is from Ciro Marchetti, and this is the Spirit of Autumn, and a new start this year, and I was able to stitch 1,285 stitches, and at 0.39%, and this is also from stitch on an 18 count Ada fabrics. Next is a Dominic Davison design. This is the Mini Victorian Garden, and so far this is the only whip that that has less than 1,000 stitches, and because it has a very confetti stitch on this part, so I was not able to touch it or stitch it again. I only stitch it once, and this is a restart. I stitched this one on a 14 count, and then this year I decided to include it stitching on an 18 count. So far this is the progress. I only have stitched 428 stitches at 0.56%. Next is one of my oldest whip. It has gone for many restarts, but this is from Dominic Davison, and this is the Mini Deer Creek. And so far this is the progress, and this year I was able to add 5,279 stitches, and right now it has 14,692 stitches and 18.84. Next is a new start, and this is the Peacock Liaison. I forgot the name of this designer. I will just post it here, and I've added 1,099 stitches and 0.38%. So this is stitched on an 18 count Ada fabric. Next is from Amy Stewart, and this is the Amazing Animal Kingdom, and this is stitched on a 14 count Ada 18 count Ada fabric, and it has now 5,239 stitches and at 1.40%. This is the Waterhole Master, and this is stitched on an 16 count Ada fabric, and I've added 1,933 stitches, and it has a total of 397 stitches and at 1.54%. Next, this is my last full coverage, and this is the Mediterranean Harbor. This is a restart this year, and this is stitched on 18 count Ada fabric, and it has 1,260 stitches and 0.45%. So once again, those are my full coverage whips for the 25 whips in 2025, and I was able to track the number of stitches that I made for this year, and when I totaled it, it has around 53,000 stitches, or exactly 53,474 stitches. If you compared it last year, which is 2024, it was only just 6,000 stitches. So let's go to the other whips that are included in the 25 whips in 2025. The first one is from Alforest Embroidery, and this is Dancing Butterflies. This is stitched on a royal blue 14 count Ada fabric, and I use a DMC number conversion, and so far this is the progress. Next is a Nora Corbett, and this is Geranium, and so far this is the progress. And I was able to add some beads and some special threads here. So most of whips that you will be seeing are not ironed or have some creases, so forgive me. Next is another Alforest Embroidery, and this is a stitch along way back to 3 years ago, I guess 3 to 4 years ago, and this is the Emerald City, and this is stitched on a 16 count Ada fabric, and right now this is my progress, and I was able to relate stitching her when I watched the Wicked movie. So that's the progress so far. Next is, let's go to my fancy ladies. Let's start with my Bella Filipina, and the focus piece again. This is Aquila, the Queen of the Skies. This is stitched on a 14 count Ada fabric, and so far this is my progress. So only the stitches but no cranic or beads. So I am finished all the stitches on this part, and right now I am doing the bottom part of her dress. So far that is the progress. Next is a Bella Filipina again, and this is Queen Sari, and this is stitched on a 14 count Ada fabric. Still has no beads and cranic, and I am also working at the bottom of her dress. So this is how the dress are, and then I already have the beads and the special thread. I just purchased it, so I am hoping that I'll be able to finish her this year, and after finishing Queen Sari, I'll be able to stitch the other one, which is the Aquila. So far this is the progress. So there are two remaining. The first one is the winter green, and this is my oldest uh, fancy lady, and so far this is the progress. So let me check below. Okay, so let me show you first the upper part. This is stitched on a 16 count Ada fabric, and then below, so that's it. And last but not the least, this is the Spring Queen, and this is also stitched on 16 count Ada fabric, and I am busy stitching her at the bottom, I guess. Yes, so far this is the progress of the Spring Queen. So those are my 25 whips in 2025. To my other whips, let's have first this one. This is from DMC Philippines, DMC Inspirations, and this is one of the moon series of DMC Philippines, and this one is the Moon River. This is one of my earliest whips, and I've stitched it on an 18 count fabric black, and so far this is the progress. So I was not able to touch it for 2 years, I guess. Next is another moon series, and this is the Harvest Moon. So far this is the progress. This is still stitched on 18 count. I was planning to restart it again on a 14 count thick fabric, so let's see. This one is the flower series of the DMC Philippines, and this is the bouquet of flowers. This is one of my oldest, very old whip, way back 2021, and so far this is the progress. This is stitched on 16 count Ada fabric, and I barely touched this one. Next is an owl forest embroidery, and this is a sal. This is the Alice in Wonderland sal, and so far this is the progress. This is stitched on an 18 count Ada fabric, and that's the progress for the Alice in Wonderland sal. Next is my first ever chart that I made, and this is the cross stitch tools. This is stitched on an 18 count fabric. This was supposed to be included in the 25 whips in 2025, but I decided to insert a full coverage. Another Alforest embroidery, and this is the black vintage sampler. This is stitched on an 18 count Ada fabric, and I used the number 3799 color, and so far this is the progress. Next are my fancy lady whips. So last year I made this crazy idea when I started many whips, I think in the month of August up to October, every week, because I've purchased many fabrics. So since I have an available fabric, so I decided to start the fancy ladies that I wanted to stitch, and the result was this one. I have many fancy ladies from Bella Filipina and Mirabilia, and I also tried to dye fabrics, and you will see the some of this one. So let's start with a Bella Filipina, and this is the Phoenix Queen. This is stitched on a 14 count navy blue fabric, Ada fabric, and so far this is the progress. So I really enjoyed stitching her. So right now I am at the middle part of the chart, and wow, look at this one. This is heavily beaded. So that's the Phoenix Queen from Bella Filipina. Next, let's go to Mirabilia, and this is one of the seasonal queens, and this is the Summer Queen. And so far this is the progress. So this is stitched on a 16 count Ada fabric. So I already, on the seasonal queens of Mirabilia, I already finished the autumn queen. Next is another Mirabilia, and this is where I stitch on the fabric that I've hand dyed, and this is the Dreamer. And so far this is the progress. This is stitched on a 14 count Ada fabric that I've hand dyed, and there you go. So I am at the middle now of her dress, but so far this is the progress. Wow, very beautiful lady. Next, let's go to a Bella Filipina whip, and this is Amihan, the deity of the wind. And so far this is the progress. So let me just fold. So this is stitched on a 14 count Ada fabric handed by yours truly, and I am now stitching the wings, and then I'll continue stitching her dress. So far this is the progress of Amihan. Next is a Mirabilia, and this is Rosa's Celebration, which is one of, I think, one of the biggest chart that I've stitched. So far this is the progress, and that's the progress of her. This is stitched on a 14 count Ada fabric, and there you go. Next, a Bella Filipina, and this is the Daughters of Estuary. So I only stitched the first mermaid, and I am stitching on her tail already. So this is the progress. So go. So again, this is stitched on a 14 count Ada fabric hand dyed by me, and that is the progress so far. Next is a Mirabilia, and this is the Princess Eliana, which is stitched on a 14 count Ada fabric, which is also hand dyed by me, and this is the progress. So I started on her dress and then stitch all the way here. So this is the progress so far. Next is from Bella Filipina, and this is the Temptress of the Cursed Sea. And so far this is the progress. This is stitched on a 14 count Ada cream fabric, so I didn't hand it in. So far this is the progress of the Temptress of the Cursed Sea. Next is another Bella Filipina, and this is the Aqua, I forgot the name, but this is Aquabella, Crystal Aquabella. I hope I'm correct. So this is so far the progress. So I am now stitching on her tail. So this is stitch again in the 14 count Ada fabric. This is one of the beautiful mermaid of Bella Filipina. Love this one. It's a different color. Next is from Bella Filipina, and this is Julia the Firefly Princess. So this is stitched on a 14 count navy blue, and so far this is the progress. Next is another Bella Filipina. This time I tried using an even weave 32 count, and so far this is the progress of the sa pangalan na ninyo, Maria Makiling. So this is the progress so far of Maria Makiling, stitch on a 32 count even weave. Next from Mirabilia, and this is Miss Cherry Blossoms, and this is stitch on a 14 count Ada fabric, pink Ada fabric. So far this is the progress of Miss Cherry Blossoms. I finished stitching this one, and then I did proceed on her dress. So that's the progress so far. From Mirabilia, and this is the Nightingale. This is also 14 count, and that's the progress so far of Nightingale. From Mirabilia again, and this is the Lady of the, oh no, this is from Bella Filipina, and this is the Azotea. So this is 32 count even weave, and so far this is the progress. From Bella Filipina again, and this is Magwayan, and I already started stitching her halo using the Rainbow Gallery threads, and so far this is the progress of Magwayan. So I started this because I joined the Teresa Made Me Do It Sal, and this is the progress of Magwayan. Another Bella Filipina, and this is Olivia the Witch, the Forest Witch. So far this is the progress. This is stitched on a 14 count Ada fabric. So far I am now stitching her dress. Beautiful color. Another Bella Filipina, and this is Lakapati. I started stitching the border and then gone through stitching her face and also her halo, which is this would shine. So that's the progress so far. Next is another Bella Filipina, and this is Urduha, and this is stitched on a 14 count Ada fabric, and so far this is the progress of Urduha. Love it. So this is hand dyed by yours truly, and I am now started stitching her tail. So all of these are combinations of beads and acrylics. So wow, there you go. This is Orduha. Next from Mirabilia, and this is Royal Holiday. So most of fancy ladies that you can see right now are have not enough progress, or a bit little progress. So far I've stitched only the face of this one of Royal Holiday. So this is the progress so far. Next is the Lady of the Mist, and this is the progress so far. This is stitched on a 14 8 16 count cafe French latte, I guess, from Witchelt. And so far this is the progress. Next is the Garden Verses. This is still stitched on a 16 count French latte, and I've only stitched her part of her hair, but I wanted to restart it on a 14 count. So I would prefer stitching it on a harder fabric, stiff fabric, compared to this very soft one. Next is one of my oldest WIP, and this is Sleeping Beauty, and this is stitched on a 16 count Witchelt fabric. And so far this is the progress. Next is a Bella Filipina, and this is Fairy Iridescence, and so far this is the progress. So I started at the bottom of her dress, and this is stitched on a 14 count Ada fabric. Next is Rapunzel. So I started stitching her face and then her hair, and I got stuck. I stopped stitching her because I think I made a mistake on her hair. So that's the progress so far for Rapunzel. Next is from Bella Filipina, and this is the Star of Christmas. So that's the progress so far. Another Bella Filipina, and this is Cordelia, which is a mermaid. So this is stitched on a 14 count Ada navy blue. Next is the Queen Mermaid from Mirabilia. This is stitched on a Mediterranean Witchelt fabric. Botanical Garden, and this is stitched on a 14 count Ada fabric. And so far this is the progress. Next is from Bella Filipina, and this is Mayari. So this is stitched on a navy blue Ada fabric 14 count. And then next is her sister, which is Hanan. Still Bella Filipina. Then we have Tala. So the deity, the cosmos deity, deities. And then we have the Luna Sol Tropica. Wala sa manip. Next is we have the Sol Tropica. From Bella Filipina, this is stitch on a 14 count, Ada fabric, green. And this is the Stargazer from Mirabilia. This is stitched on a navy blue 14 count Ada fabric. Another Mirabilia, this is the Sun Goddess. So I only stitched the skin. This is 14 count fabric. Next is the Gypsy Queen. This is 14 count Ada fabric cream. We have from Mirabilia, and this is the Renaissance Mermaid. So I only stitch her hair. This is stitched on a light blue 14 count Ada fabric. And then we have a Bella Filipina, and this is Gaia, the Earth Goddess. And so far this is the progress. This is from Bella Filipina, and this is Amphitrite. And this is one of the biggest chart in stitch on a 14 count royal blue fabrics Zweigart, and I only finished the octopus. And last but not the least, from Bella Filipina again, and this is the Enchantress of the Abyss. So I started stitching her tail, but so far this is the progress, as this is 14 count fabric green. So those are my whips, and I hope you enjoyed the whips that I've shown, and see you on the next 2 weeks for my 4th year Flosstubers. Happy stitching, everyone!